Hi, this is Shui with a review of the Adidas Trae Young 1. That's a really stupid name. Just put the whole player's name there. Not even Young 1, Trae 1. It's like Trae Young 1. Anyway, the design, I would give it 2 thumbs up. It's in keeping with some of the design trend that Adidas has been pursuing or not giving up, and at the same time giving it a fresh breath of fresh air. It's got a lot of the iciness, Trae Young Ice Trae nickname, iciness around the icicles and iceberg or chipped ice blocks and whatnot, and the icy bear logo. Anyone who tries the slushy, I love it. I don't think any other brand comes close today in terms of slushy beverages. This is nice color scheme in keeping with the icy bear. First thing you'll notice immediately is the boost puck around the heel, but it's not too far different from having the similar amount of light strike at the heel. Compared with the Harden 4, you don't feel like there's a huge amount of cushioning boost. It's very similar to Harden 4's light strike only heel, but it's a little bit more elevated. You can feel that, hey, there's some kind of boost sprinkled in there, but it's not a significant difference. On the forefoot, you have the light strike, but the light strike is actually higher off the ground than Harden 4, but it feels harder and more rigid because Adidas is keeping with their idiotic way of, look at the Rose 5 was a good shoe because it actually had Rose 6, right? Rose 6 was a good shoe because it actually had, was it Rose 6, right? The spring plate, the plastic plate on the outsole. So you feel the cushioning working on your foot and the plastic plate doing its job, but not hindering the cushioning. But here on the Trae Young, this plastic is right under your foot, as right under the strobo board. So you feel the plastic all around, unless you're able to like wear a really big shoe and just. So the only part that compresses is the middle core. These side panels are like really rigid hard. So that defeats the purpose of having a solid light strike cushioning on the forefoot. So overall, it feels like it's elevated and harder, more rigid than the Harden 4. So in terms of cushioning, Harden 4 is a way more superior shoe without having to put in a lot more research and development or a lot more money into it or jacking up the price tag in any way. Yeah, for size 9, it weighs about 420, 415 some odd grams. It's not the lightest shoe out there. It fits true to size, but you'll have a problem of not being able to lace up anything here. The firm, starchy, fabricy material here is not that breathable, but it's not elastic in any way. So unless you have a one-to-one fit with the shoe, this is not a shoe for you. The laces are here, but they do very little. The next level shoe actually had more tight elastic materials around this area so that it wraps around your foot better. This is none of that, just 2 lace loops. So more or less it's the same thing, just more manual. They should have laces here if you really want to wear this for performance, and if it doesn't, and if you want a one-to-one fit, I would advise, if you're willing to punch some lace loop holes here and then add some more fastening capabilities here, then you might wear this. But other than that, if the shoe doesn't fit you immediately, don't think about wearing it for actual performance purposes. The heel, it's okay. There's no heel slippage there. The heel cup is not substantial, but it gets the job done. Because this is a low cut compared to the next levels. The next level is where you had that frustration of having to squeeze your foot in, and then once you're sweating and your foot has formed a molecular bond with the shoe, you just have to separate them, and there's still the ankle part that you have to really force your way out of it. So this is an improvement because it's lower cut. You can actually slide in your foot and take it out a lot easier than the next levels. But of course, it's worse compared to shoes that actually have a tongue that's separated where you can easily put on a shoe and put off your shoe. But an upgrade from the next levels inconvenience in terms of putting your shoes on and taking it off. And there's a bit of a room here, so if you've tried an Adidas shoe in the past, you understand there's always sort of a roomy space in the toe box area. You can go true to size. If you have a really, really narrow foot, you can even go down half a size. It's not in any way tight fitting. The outsole pattern, well, there's a sort of a prominent outrigger type of material here to provide additional support to provide that anti ankle sprain, ankle inversion support there. That's nice. Gets the job done. But the outsole pattern, yes, traction, finally, Adidas has got it right, at least for the heel part. This actually works. This little straight line actually works fine as well. But here, where the traction really matters, they did not deliver as much as well as they did with the heel. The Dame 7, if you tried it, it's got a very similar lightning pattern there, but it's sort of closer to the Kyrie 1 warped and twisted herringbone traction. If you try the Kyrie ones, the traction is not that great. It's very dust sensitive. So this too is pretty dust sensitive, but it's better than similar pattern shoe from Why Not 03s or the Dame 7. Better, but not by a huge margin. Compared to killer traction shoes like the Crazy Quicks, this is garbage. But you know, compared to the traction, the crappy traction that we've been getting from Adidas in recent models, this is definitely a minor toe up. I won't even say a step up. The insole is pretty standard general issue EVA flimsy insole. So if you're sensitive about cushioning, but you don't care about how high off the ground you are, the forefoot is not low to the ground because of the plastic plate, and they've used a thicker amount of light strike here compared to shoes like the Harden 4s. Harden 4s is thinner, lower to the ground, and it's more cushioned than this light strike, although this is thicker. I don't know why. So if you want to actually enjoy the midsole cushioning and negate or neutralize the plastic plate in between your foot and the cushioning, you might want to go with a thicker insole. But then again, if you use a thicker insole for this already pretty heavy, pretty high off the ground shoe, it kind of defeats the purpose of getting a basketball shoe. So there's something you might want to consider. It's not the cheapest shoe out there. I guarantee you this would go on the discount aisle faster than I can say discount.